Well, hello friends. Today we're going to fix something that has been annoying me for a long time. It's the, I'll show you. It's in the file manager, or anything with the table view. When you click on these things to like resort them by this column, then it just stays flat the whole time. Like it doesn't depress when you're pressing down on it, and it looks so not right. So that's what we're going to fix right now. And then also, I feel like the colors here, there's a different shade used for the column backgrounds for the selected column or the sorted column. And I feel like they're a little bit too dark, and they've been too dark for a long time. So let's do something about that. I'm going to do some important stuff here. It's been a long time since I did one of these little detail tweaking videos. Let's see. Where do we have the colors here? So in table view paint event, we have the alternating row colors. Key column background color. This one is a little too not bright, so. And this is the even darker one, so we'll bring this one up to 200, I think. And we can put this one at 230. Yeah, you think that'll be like a bit nicer. Let's make sure that we rebuild the right stuff. Just want to test this out right quick before we go for the other stuff with those table view header, column header things. Bring me a file manager. Oops, that's not the file manager. Oop. All right. I think that's a little bit nicer. Although on my screen it's like barely visible, so maybe that was a little too aggressive. Maybe we'll just go 220 and 190. We're still going up by 10, just a little less aggressive. Maybe I need some time to get used to this change. Should have a shortcut to bring this up. Okay, all right. Maybe they could be a little closer. I guess it's the dark one that's bothering me the most. File manager. Go to table view. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. All right, so let's commit this important change. Look, we make them GTableView row background colors a little brighter. This has been bothering me for a long time. Okay, and they're probably still not perfect, but at least it's a little bit better. And then we wanted to do the column headers. So let's look at the mouse down event. The way that it works right now is that we look at the y coordinate of the mouse event, and if it's less than the height of the header, that means that we are clicking on the header, because the header is always at the top of the widget. So then what we do is that we just iterate through the column count of the model. It's a bit of a sad thing to not put that in a. I mean, this is like going for a micro optimization here, but like not doing that virtual call for every step of the loop just seems like that's just polite. Even though, what else? We're probably doing other silly stuff as well. So we find if the column resize grabbable rect. So the resize grabbable rect, I'll show you, is kind of frustrating to have to start a file manager whenever. So this thing is the resize grabbable rect. The rect in which the mouse cursor becomes the resize cursor. And when you click on that one, nothing should really happen, I guess. Other than, I mean, we should initiate a resize, but we shouldn't resort. So that's this part right here. If we are in this header, then if we are in the header rect and the column metadata from the model says that this is a sortable column, then we'll resort. But instead what we should do is we should just initiate a button press, I guess, because it shouldn't react to mouse down. It should react to like mouse down, remain within the widget, and then mouse up. So let's do that. This should just be like a regular button, essentially. So we'll say there's a resizing column. So M pressing column header, pressed column header, something like that. Pressed column header, yeah. And then we'll say that M pressed column header is not 1, it's I. And then we'll do an update, I guess. We'll want to repaint, but we only have to repaint the column headers. So we can actually update only the header rect. And then, do we have a mouse up event at all? We have mouse move and mouse up. Okay, all right. So here we can say like, I don't know, let's go to mouse up first actually. So if we were in column resize, then we stop being in column resize. And then if we were, what was it called? Pressed column header. It's not -1, then we do this. -1. Now the important part here is we got to make sure that we are still inside the column header when we mouse up. So if event position, if header rect for the pressed column header contains the event position, then we will do this. All right. So we can just check right quick that this works, because now it should only resort if I click down and then I let go while the cursor is inside of the same column header. Click down, let go. Click down, move out, let go. Cool. Click down, move here, let go. Click down, let go. Click down, click, 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 click. Okay. So that part's good. Now, let's go ahead and update the header rect in both of these cases. I guess we'll just cache this header rect. Okay. So that's good. Now we just have to take care of mouse move event. So if we're in mouse move and pressed column header, I'm constantly forgetting what this thing is called. If it's not -1, then we if header rect contains event position. So this is mouse move. Then press state is down. So I guess we should probably remember this. Pressed column header state. Pressed. Pressing. I don't know. This is a weird. I don't like the name I ended up with here. Pressed column header. We could rename it to pressed column index. Pressed column index. Pressed column header index and bool. Pressed column header pressed is pressed. Let's call it that. It's weird, but it's verbose and expressive. So we'll say that if it contains it, then it's going to be true. And if m pressed column header index is pressed, if it's false, then we'll update the header rect. And likewise, we'll update the header rect. And the other scenario, okay. And where is mouse down? When we press down, we can say that it is pressed. And when we go up, mouse up event, we'll always say false. Okay, now all we have to take care of now is the paint event. So that when we paint the headers, which we do, oh, we even have a helper. Paint headers, isn't that nice? So the way this works is that we go through the columns from 0 to column count, and again, let's do one of those polite things here where we don't call the virtual function on every loop iteration because that's just rude. And we want to paint it differently. So paint button, right? So here's the call to paint button. And paint button has some flags. There's the pressed flag, which we could just totally pass along. Let's see, pressed. So pressed is going to be column index is equal to m pressed column header index, and pressed column header is pressed. Let's see if this works. And we have to do this, and look at that. Oh, wait, it didn't really do what I wanted. So that part looks kind of reasonable. I mean, it doesn't look totally right. Why does it look so weird? Also, when I re-enter, why doesn't it become pressed again? So mouse move event, there's a pressed column header index, and the header rect does contain it. And pressed is false, then we should update. But if header rect doesn't contain it, then pressed becomes false. Oh, wait. Here, look at that. It doesn't say it's pressed. It says index. What a goofball. All right, so I wonder if the header rect is a little on the small side, maybe. I forget how that's calculated, so let's look at it. The header rect is, oh, we can actually look how it's painted. That would be more interesting. So paint headers. The header rect, what do we actually paint? We paint the cell rect, which is, we don't even take the header rect for anything here. So we're gonna need the whole button rect really for that thing to be repainted correctly. For simplicity's sake, we can just repaint the whole header field. Update header rect. We can say update headers. That's not a terrible compromise. Is this all protected? Jeez. Okay, I don't know why this is all protected. Does anybody even hear it from GTableView? Yes, okay, well, let's not deal with that right now. So update headers. And what that's going to do is it's just going to be like rect headers rect is 0, 0, and width and header height. That's pretty good. Update. We can just do it that way. Cool. All right, let's try this out. Okay, now this behavior is better, but now it looks wrong here because there's like a little bit of white at the bottom. Also, I feel like the text should actually move when we do this. So paint event, or no, paint headers. If it is pressed, then we should offset the text that we draw a little bit. So the text rect for the header, if pressed, text rect move by 1, 1. I think that would be nice. Okay, yeah, that looks way, way better. But why is it white underneath now? And then it repaints like that. So probably the header height is not entirely tall enough. Cell rect. X offset 0, column with horizontal padding. But the table view is an abstract view, which is a frame. Oh. We have to take that into account, that probably we have a frame thickness. So update headers. Rect move by. So this should be the frame inner rect width, and we move it by the frame thickness, Because I think the table view, yeah, it has a frame thickness of 2, so we have to take that into account. Okay, I don't know why I don't make a shortcut for this. Oh, look at that. It's perfect. It's so pretty. Oh, I love it. Okay, See, it's like these little things that just make everything feel so much more cohesive and better and righter, and I'm never going to be able to go back now. So we definitely have to commit this. So let's see, commit. All the GUI. Make the GTableView column headers behave like proper buttons. Previously, they would resort the column, resort based on the column immediately on when you mouse down on them. Now we track the click event and show the header in a pressed state, etc. The usual button stuff. All right, and actually, buttons do one more thing that we didn't do here. So if you look here, it has a hover color when you're hovering over it. And I think that would be nice to have the same thing in this guy right here, if they would hover. Because hover signals that, hey, this thing can be interacted with, right? It's a nice little visual cue. So mouse move event, we should just maybe just have a hovered column index. So if your mouse moving and in column resize, if you're pressing one, then we should probably return here actually. We don't want to initiate a resize somehow. So let me add that to the previous commit. And then let's say mouse move event. We got to figure out what header you're actually hovering. So if buttons are at 0, I guess that's actually here. That's exactly what we want to do. So again, I don't know why this seems so important today, but it just does. If the resize grabbable rect contains, oh, this is just where we set the cursor for this you can resize now. So then here we'll say if header rect I contains event position, covered column header index I. And then we can say if hovered column header index is -1, then update headers. Found hovered header. Just remember that we found one. True. And then if no hovered header found, then m hovered column header index is -1. And if m hovered column header index is not -1, then we'll update the headers. Okay. And then in paint headers, we can actually pass this along to paint button, because paint button takes pressed, hovered, checked, and even enabled. So I think we can just pass this along here. We'll say hovered is column index is equal to m hovered column header index, right? And we'll pass hovered along. And we'll just store this int here. Okay. Let's see how this turns out in practice. Yes, I made it all the way through this without ever making the shortcut. And look at that, there's a hover color. Oh, and when we leave, it stays on. We had to fix that. And if I switch between them, then it doesn't update, so that's not good. I guess that was some dumb logic right there. Because it shouldn't just check for -1, it should check if it's not I. We can do that, 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 and that. And we should also check for the leave event. When we leave, we can just say m hovered column header index is -1. To make sure that we, because otherwise you might like hover into it and then you leave the widget with the cursor, and we don't actually get a mouse move event that would cause us to repaint the headers so they look right. But now when we sneak out the top, it still unhighlights this hovered thing. So this is just too sweet, isn't it? That's a little weird. We probably should unhover when we show the resize cursor. Mouse move event. So that's up here when we're showing the grabbable rect. We should do the same thing. So if it's not -1, then we'll update the headers and set it to -1. Okay. It's a little bit of verbose stuff around this. In fact, we can do a lot better here. We can say like set hovered header index -1. And then we'll just GTableView set hovered header index. Turn. Index, okay, and because it was getting way too repetitive. Set hovered header index I. Okay, there we go. It's nicer. It was getting way too repetitive. I should have stopped myself sooner. So, additional self-deprecating comment about not making the shortcut. Anyways, so these are pretty good. Switching between looks fine. Bouncing out is good. Here, yep, now it does the right thing. So when we switch the cursor, then we also unhighlight the hovered one to show you that the visual cue now is that, like, if you click down here, you're resizing. If you click down here, it's a resort. Of course, this is not a very interesting resort because nothing actually moves, but even so. It's really good. Oh, this one is not sortable. If it's not sortable, should we still highlight? Maybe we shouldn't. Not sure about that one. So, okay. GTableView. Or I guess I was saying libGUI for these, but these could also say GTableView. Highlight hovered. Highlight the hovered column header. Makes it feel even more like a proper button. Let's put some stars here, even more like a proper button. All right. Let's look at that sortable thing. Sortable. Where's the sortable? Mouse down event. So we'll only react to the mouse down if the column metadata for this column index says that it's sortable. So I think we should check that here. And do we get the metadata anywhere? No, we don't. Okay, well, we can get it. Paint headers. Cool. Is sortable. Column metadata for column index dot sortable equal to g sort. No. Wait, what the heck type is this? G model sortable true. Ooh, the indentation. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, I don't want to mess with this. G model sort what? G model column metadata sortable. True. Okay, that's nice and tidy. So if hovered, I guess hovered, we should only consider it hovered if, so we can check this down here instead. We don't have to do the metadata lookup for every column. We only do it if we're dealing with the currently hovered column. Okay, so now, since that first column with the icons is not sortable, then we shouldn't highlight it. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. So you can resize this. I would kind of expect those to be in the center, but oh, what do I know? Ooh, negative. They can have negative width. That's stupid. What the heck? Oh, look how everything just totally breaks. We should prevent that. GTableView. GTableView. Don't show unsortable. Don't hover highlight unsortable column headers. The hover highlight is meant to indicate that this is a pressable, pushable button. That the button is pressable, pushable. Non-sortable columns are not pushable, so. And then, I mean, now this was, I don't like this. Let's say pressable. That's the word that we're using everywhere. Okay. Right, the negative width. So, new column width. I remember. This is where we're setting that. So it's a mouse move event while we're in a column resize. So here we should kind of refuse to set a negative width. So if new width is less than or equal to minimum column width, whatever that is, new width is, then we'll just, I don't know what that's going to be, static constant 8 pixels. I don't freaking know. Just something so that we don't allow you to go into the negative range. Okay, blah, 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 blah. And let's take this one. And it stops there. Maybe we should let you go even smaller, maybe 2 pixels, but no smaller than that, right? It has to be like, has to be possible to see that it's still something there, even if you can't read the text of it. So, oh wait, column width is 2. This is 2. I guess I'm a bit surprised. I would have thought that 2 would look smaller than that. But what do I know? It's not enough to contain the dot dot dot. Why does it look so weird? Do we maybe constrain it somewhere else? Do we have a min? Where do we paint them? I mean, we were allowing it to become negative before, so when we paint, then the cell rect is the column width plus the horizontal padding. Okay, times 2. So we always add the horizontal padding to the column width, which is 5 pixels. Times 2. So it's 12 pixels. I guess we're also including the resize grabber thingies. These guys right here. So well, that's better than nothing. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just didn't want to have a negative thing showing up because that was really stupid. So don't allow resizing columns to a negative width. This is definitely not perfect, but better than putting better than letting you put the TableView into a weird state with negative column widths. Okay, so I think that's going to be enough for today, because I'm out of things to fix now. This is the stuff I wanted to work on. It's pretty sweet. So I guess I would just say, if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching, for hanging out, and for coming back. It's nice to have some company while we do this. So I hope you saw something interesting. Did I say that already? Well, I still hope so. And I will see you next time. Bye.